Good afternoon. Right, let's load up Twitter. Right. You're going to post some random controversial opinion that no one actually cares about on Twitter. I mean, sure, go for it. I mean, no one really cares. I am the sort of person who prefers my custard cold on apple crumble, and any other way is just wrong, in my opinion. Right, let's tweet that. Let's see what Twitter thinks of this. What a stupid and absolutely pointless opinion. Wait, no, don't you say it. Ha! Twitter for Android. Ha! Oh, for God's sake, this is a flagship level device with a 120Hz OLED screen. More than you've got. You say that, but I've got something even better for you. Would you like to hear a joke? Do I want to hear a joke? Fine. Ah, good. Would you like to hear a joke on privacy? Fine, let's hear it. You don't get it. Oh, for fuck!
Now, in the tech world, whether that be it laptops, phones, operating systems, tablets, watch types, there are all sorts of different types, ecosystems, brand loyalties. So, in today's video, we're going to be discussing the different types of ecosystems in the space of tech, and also we're going to touch on the topic of fanboyism and brand loyalty. So let's jump straight into today's topic and get into technology ecosystems and their user bases. As you know, I'm a massive user of technology. I like to dip and delve into all sorts of ecosystems, different platforms, different technology types. I like to experience it all. But not quite everyone is like me and likes to experience all the tech that there is out there in the world. What is an ecosystem? Well, essentially an ecosystem of devices that are designed to essentially work in tandem with each other for the best compatibility with each other. What am I talking about? For example, you can go down the Apple ecosystem, whether that being with your iPhone, your iPad, down to your Apple Watch, all the way up to your Macs and Apple TVs. Apple's got a pretty locked in ecosystem. When I say ecosystem, it means that you can use all your devices very easily with each other. You can sync all your data up using iCloud and other Apple services, and essentially ties you into using Apple devices if you want to easily be able to share your data between your different devices and easily manage all your different Apple devices. Or you could go down different routes such as the Google ecosystem, whether that being from your Android phone or tablet, or maybe you're even someone who likes to use Chromebooks, though. Who actually uses a Chromebook? Now, I do joke with that statement because Chromebooks over the last year have sold massively, so there are people who actually use Chromebooks. I've not met anyone who uses Chromebooks yet, but I look forward to meeting one day. But the Google ecosystem is not just restricted to Google devices such as Android or Chromebook OS. The Google ecosystem expands to all sorts of devices. On Windows, you can access your Google Drive, Gmail, Google Photos. All of that's part of the Android ecosystem. So, fortunately, with Google, their ecosystem is not tied strictly to Google hardware itself. It can be accessed via software. After all, Google is predominantly a software company, and it's good to see that their ecosystems are tied mainly to software and not hardware level devices. Other ecosystems you could argue for is the Windows ecosystem. I personally use Windows as my main daily driver for all my computing uses myself, and just being able to use devices such as Windows and OneDrive, being able to sync up my laptop and desktop that way, is also another super handy thing. Though personally for myself, for my cloud storage, I do use Google Drive. And we've seen the whole idea and concept of the ecosystem, how you've got collectible devices to have the best compatibility. You've even seen Samsung try to get on Apple's bandwagon with when they unveiled the Note 20 Ultra right here. They wanted to make an ecosystem with Samsung Galaxy Buds, with the new Samsung Galaxy tablets, and also with the new Samsung Galaxy Watch. They wanted to present the idea that they also had a big ecosystem competitor. which it could be argued that other device manufacturers are getting there, but nowhere near the level of tight integration that Apple has been able to achieve across their devices, although be it that does come with some downsides, but also upsides of there being such a tight ecosystem, such as ease of use, compatibility, and also increased privacy and security, with Apple being able to manage your data within one solid ecosystem, instead of you having to go to the likes of Google, which they've been known not to be the nicest and the kindest with their handling of private user data. So where do I personally come in at the ecosystems of the tech space? Well, I'm someone who uses almost every single type of ecosystem and device platform. What am I talking about? Well, my daily driver for a phone, like I said, is the Note 20 Ultra. What do I use for my tablet? I use an iPad. What do I use for my smartwatch? I use an Apple Watch. What do I use for my laptop? I use a Dell XPS 15, which is running off Windows, and for my main predominant use of my workflow, I use a Windows desktop. In terms of, just my general workflow, in terms of the Adobe software I usually use for creative reasons, and also my personal work that I do in terms of programming and other university work that I do. Though I have to say, I am looking into getting one of the new Apple Silicon MacBook Pros when they come out with the refresh later in the year. I can't have the pleasure of being able to easily sync up all my devices and easily say, I don't have to worry about if I take a photo on one phone, it's not going to be on another device, or if I save a file on this computer, I can't access it over my tablet, even though I do use Google Drive, so it's not the end of the world, not really much of a problem. It's just that nice ease convenience of not even having to think about syncing up my data. I can't quite experience, but I'm grateful that I'm able to experience the different types of tech, because I get quite bored of technology very easily, which is why I delve into different ecosystems. I can't just stick to one brand of phone. I can't just stick to one type of ecosystem or operating system. I like a change. I like to freshen things up and widen my experiences when it comes to tech. After all, it is the field that I'm studying in and I'm going to have a future career in. So being able to be at the forefront of all the different types of technology and be able to experience it all is very handy for my line of work. But let's discuss something that can be a bit of a touchy, controversial subject, especially if you're someone who lives their life on the likes of Twitter and Instagram and other toxic social media websites, and that is fanboyism within the ecosystems. Now, before we get to fanboyism, let's talk about people and brand loyalty. Now, I know a lot of people have a concept of brand loyalty, whether that being through perceiving Apple or Samsung to be the greatest brands of all times, or you're the type of user who doesn't quite feel confident enough to branch out from what you've always been used to. For example, I know people who've always had a Samsung phone and therefore they don't want to change over to another type of brand, even though they're all running Android now. I understand that they want to stick on the same brand platform and not even want to delve in and mix with different Android phones. They like the same manufacturer and like to stick with that, which I can see some who aren't quite as tech savvy going down that route because they're not too sure on the whole space of smartphones and computers and stuff, so they just stick with what they know and what they think is going to be best and work for them, which I can understand that. Other perceptions of brand loyalty comes down to internet clout and what they think's cool and what's going to make them look the best and what they can pose with on social media. That has been very true for a lot of people with such as Apple phones. Lots of people don't quite understand the tech behind them. For example, people think because they bought last year's iPhone 11, which had a 720p LCD display, they thought they were the shit because they had a subpar LCD 720p display in 2019. And they thought, because it's got the Apple brand, it's great. Though I do quite like Apple phones. And what I don't understand is people who go out and try and defend the brand to the core. Like you think if you go out and defend Samsung or Android or Google or Apple, do you really think if you're getting into an argument on Twitter that Apple's going to care or Google's going to care about your opinions on defending their brand? Of course not. You're just another number to them. You're just another customer among the millions, if not billions by now, out in the world. So you are just another number to the corporation. Do you really think that you defending them is going to make any difference or change their opinions or put you in their good books? No, it's not going to make any difference. Which is why I can't stand fanboyism and toxic brand loyalty when it comes to these types of devices, manufacturers and ecosystems. There is absolutely no need or no space for it. Also, by talking about a prime example is on Twitter. Yes, I know it's Twitter and it's a small minority of the world that don't reflect the majority of the world, even though they like to think that sometimes they're the majority because their hashtags got, 10,000 retweets, even though the world's full of 7.5 billion people. And the common one that I hate the most is when you send a tweet on Twitter, it will say what device you've tweeted it on. For example, it would say such as Twitter for iPhone, Twitter for iPad, Twitter for Android, Twitter for Windows desktop, and whatnot. And the common toxic thing that I hate to see is when someone tweets from an Android phone and someone comments, Twitter for Android, you must be poor. Really? We're still at this price point where the baseline iPhone 12 you can get for around £800, and I can send a tweet on this phone. How much did this phone cost me? £1,200. So that argument is just invalid, and it's crazy how people need to find a way to try and validate their purchase in such a toxic manner. Not saying, I've bought this new iPhone because I like, the software or the feel of the hardware, or I like the screen, or I like the camera system. And I personally opinion I get on best with it. Maybe I think the sensor or the image processing in Apple might be better compared to the flagship Android phone, vice versa. Or you might say, I went Samsung because, I think the color reproduction, the screen and the increased refresh rate is what I'm looking for on the phone, and that's why I think it's better. Which I think that's the sort of discussions we should be having, instead of this toxic and unpleasant environment that the internet tries to create around different types of devices when there's just no need for it. And in my personal opinion, I think there should be different types of ecosystems and brands out there. What do you think would happen if there was just only one brand of phone manufacturer, one brand of laptop creator, one operating system for desktops? What do you think will actually happen if that was the case? Well, to be honest, not a whole lot. Competition stifles growth and innovation. It stifles competitive prices and increased feature set. So competition and healthy competition debate between different companies growing technology forward is what is good about this industry, and quite frankly, us the consumers at the end of the day is who will benefit from this competition between different companies. After all, at the end of the day, you want to get enhanced feature sets, you want to get better prices. So arguing and trying to discredit other brand manufacturers and trying to just say, yes, this one's the greatest and all the others suck, is just more damaging to the industry, opposed to saying, yes, I love all these different features. I want, to make a push on the iPhone for, 120 Hz like Android phones have, or vice versa. Like, I love the operating system and the image processing that Apple's been able to get out of the recent iPhones. I would love to see that push towards Android phones and vice versa, so the industry as a whole can develop, grow and adapt, and ultimately with good competition you also get better prices. So what's not to like? We've seen recently this actually happen with Apple and Samsung bringing down the price of their flagship phones by around $100, which is great to see, and quite frankly I want to see this growth continue and this tight competition continue. So anyway guys, I'm going to wrap today's video up, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure to comment down below what your thoughts and opinions are on this video. What sort of ecosystem and devices are you using at the moment? And what do you think of fanboyism and toxic brand loyalty? Do you think it's something that needs to be getting rid of? Or are you someone who's guilty of commenting on Reddit and 4chan and Twitter of your own experiences with your devices and trying to defend your iPhone to the hilt? Let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts and opinions are. Let's have a conversation. Join in on the conversation. Let's have a conversation on this topic and discuss technology. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this in the future. Give it a like if you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in the next episode of MLC Tech. Goodbye.